Microjig, maker of the gripper. Work safer, work smarter.
It's not every day that I get a new big power tool for my wood shop, and I recently got my hands on a new Grizzly 16-inch drum sander, and this thing is going to make today's project a lot easier to make. This thing has a nice rubber conveyor which pulls your work into the drum sander, and it has 3 pressure rollers, one in the middle and then one on each end, which firmly holds your work against the conveyor. It also has 2 really nice big drums, and on the first drum you can put a more aggressive sandpaper on it, for example say a 100 grit. This is where the work will first meet the drum sander, and on the rear drum you could put a less aggressive grit, for example a 150 grit sandpaper for the final pass. More on this drum sander later. Let's get started on today's project. I'm going to make today's end grain cutting board out of some 4/4 maple and some 4/4 padauk. I cut my maple and padauk stock into roughly 25-inch long sections. Before I can take these pieces over to the table saw and rip off the strips for the cutting board, I need to get a nice flat edge, and I'm going to do that at my joiner. I'm going to rip these strips to be 1.5 inches wide, and I'm going to have 8 strips in total, 4 of each type of wood. So when they come together, the cutting board should be about 12 inches wide. When I go to glue these together, I'm going to alternate the maple and padauk boards so I get this really nice pattern. But before I can glue these up, I need to make sure these boards are nice and flat, and then I'm going to plane them to thickness. Before I can glue these strips together, I need to make sure that each mating surface is nice and flat and 90 degrees to the face. And we'll do that at the joiner. I have my cutting board out of the clamps, and I went ahead and scraped off the majority of the glue. Now I just need to flatten both faces, and to do that I'm going to use my Grizzly drum sander. Now I have both dust ports hooked up to my dust collector, so I'm ready to go. Now that I have both faces nice and flat from the drum sander, I'm going to make both edges nice and square. Now with the table saw, I'm going to rip off strips that are 1.25 inches wide, and that's going to give me the thickness of the cutting board. So now I just need one more final glue up. We're almost there. I have my cutting board out of the clamps, and I scraped off most of the glue. The next thing I need to do is pass this through the drum sander again on both faces to get this nice and flat. But before I do that, I wanted to replace the sandpaper on the front drum. And while I'm doing that, I thought I'd show you guys the process, just to show you how easy it is. Now that I've got both faces nice and flat at the drum sander, I'm going to take both faces down to 220 grit with a random orbit sander, ease the edges, and then I'll put on a finish. For the finish, I'm going to use the same finish that I put on my salad tongs, which is Millie's tongue oil finish. It's a mixture of tongue oil and beeswax, and it's food safe. So that's it, guys. The board is finished, and I think it came out looking pretty cool. I think what I'll do next is put on a few more coats of that Millie's tongue oil finish, and then after that cures, in each corner I'll put on one of those adhesive rubber feet, and I think that'll do it. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I hope you'll definitely consider subscribing. And also, if you're in the market for a 16-inch drum sander, definitely give the Grizzly 1079R a serious look. Thanks for watching, guys.